everyone. I am Miss Carter, and this is this They Call Me Miss Carter radio show, and I am here with producer slash engineer Ira Parker. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm very good. Nice, nice. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I would like my audience to know, and I would like to know, um, what what made you become a producer slash engineer?
That's a simple question. Actually, I didn't have a choice. First of all,
Okay.
literally, I was five generations of music in my family, so it's always been in my blood.
Okay.
I never had to think about it. It's something that's always been in my system, even as a young child.
Okay.
Even at the age of 4, my mom was always telling me that I was always repeating and cycling music that I heard off the tone of bass of my voice or pots and pans. And plus, I had a lot of musicians that were in my mom's side of family background. So,
Yeah.
It was just nature
Yes.
kicking in.
Yes. So you kind of answered my second question. I was going to ask you, what, like you said, you were young at 4 years old, but my question was going to be, what age made you think of what made you started thinking about becoming an engineer or producer?
That's still a good question because
Yes.
it still varies off.
Okay.
To be frankly honest with you, I think around the age 13 or 14.
Okay.
That's kind of when I was really helping out with some bigger studios kind of out of the city limits. I'm from Jacksonville, North Carolina, so
Okay.
I used to drive a little bit down the coast a little bit. There was a big major studio, Rockstar guy back in the day, and he had this big studio, and I used to just do whatever I could to help,
Okay.
pushing tapes around and changing cartridges, whatever he'll let me do, and then I just kind of kicked in right there, and I was like, man, one day I'm gonna have all this right here, and I'm gonna be able to do what this guy did, so pretty much probably about age 13 or 14.
That's great. That is really great because the kids nowadays they have cutbacks,
Right,
musical cutbacks,
right,
and they're not getting the music or the help with school that music actually helps people with.
correct.
Music helps with everything, like math, writing. Next question is, as a producer, did you work with known artists, or if you have, name some of them?
Yeah, well, that will be a lot.
I mean,
Here we
you
go.
know somebody.
I'm just playing. No, seriously.
Yes.
Here we go. We can run that off. I'll say recently, the last artist I worked with was Pleasure P, or he goes by Marcus Cooper now. He was recently here in the studio. Thanks to Young Major. Let's see. A lot of the jobs I get,
Yes.
a lot of them are mixed jobs. So sometimes I'm not always working with them personally, but because we have a very rare sound, that we get a lot of jobs where we end up mixing them. Those are names from Slim from 112.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I have worked with Rico Barino. I work with they call him Teeny now.
Yes.
Back when
Okay.
he was a while ago, but
Yes.
yeah. Seriously, Hellrail from the Dipset. I have worked personally with Travis Porter. DJ E-Sub, which is 2 Chainz DJ, was a really good friend of mine. Shout out to E-Sub.
Yes.
Okay. And also, let's see, mixing wise, I have done, Waka Flocka. I've done some side work. Back in Warner Brother days, around 2003, I did some side work for a Mike Jones remix, Prima J remix, Pitbull remix. Boy, I can keep going with that. Kilo, he was one of the producers for the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which is a really good friend of mine, actually. Mr. Maygreen, by the way. I work personally with him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He showed me a lot of stuff about the industry, also. Oh, I did get a chance to work with one of Nelly's old producers back right when he got with the St. Lunatics, actually. His name was Big Mick, and he was from St. Louis.
Okay.
That was one of the illest engineers I have ever I mean, if anything,
Yeah.
he was cool. Dude sat me down and he was like, "Hey, man, you want to learn this? You need to watch what I'm doing." I'm like, "All right, cool. Just what I'm gonna do."
Okay.
And so yeah, it kind of goes back.
Okay.
You know, so.
So, are there any artists that you want to work with?
Well, here's the thing. That's a big answer, and that's a big statement for me because
Yes.
I'm so versatile, and
Okay.
from engineering all the way down to producing. And a lot of people don't understand. Like engineering is basically the concept of running the studio, running equipment, make sure it's being ran right, make sure all the vocals are getting tracked, instruments are getting tracked. The guy who's pretty much in control of the system.
Yes.
Producing a lot is really the creation of a production. You know, whether it's you're doing it yourself, whether you've got bass player, lead keys, lead strings. I mean, you're pretty much producing, orchestrating the whole situation, and that gets mixed up a lot. So, as far as that goes, oh man, I want to work with everybody.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like me and my team.
Yeah.
I just feel like that there's nothing we can't do. Anything from hip hop, from trap to Midwest to out in Cali,
Yeah.
all the way gospel, pop, R&B, classical, jazz,
Yeah.
gospel. I don't know if I even said it already,
Yes.
but it's like we're very known with our production team, the Max Arsenals.
Okay.
Yes, Max Arsenals. Look out. The production team, we're just so flexible.
Yes.
From live musicians, vocalists, singers, songwriters. So honestly, as far as engineering and producing, I want to work with as many people as possible.
Okay.
I've already mixed over 12,000 records already, and I'm only 34.
Wow.
So.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So.
I'm 28.
Okay. So, what made you choose Charlotte rather than being in Atlanta or LA or New York?
Well, two things.
Yes.
I was doing a lot of work in between Atlanta. I've done some jobs at Patchwork, which is a Grammy award-winning recording studio.
Yes.
Anywhere out there between, they're the ones that actually gave Ludacris his pull. Outkast did a lot of records out there. Carlos Santana, P. Diddy, Pink, Whitney Houston. So those are really good guys out there at Patchwork, and the equipment is amazing. And so what I was actually doing was actually taking some of my own personal clients and setting up with sessions in there, because I think everybody should have a different experience. And a lot of people are like, well, you're a studio, why do you want to take it from another studio? Why wouldn't I? Hey, I've been close, but these guys have plaques all over the wall.
Yeah.
They got every piece of equipment that I'm starting to modify and build my own now. So I have my own rare sound, which is the reason why we have a lot of clients. But at the same time, I moved to Charlotte because a lot of the jobs and a lot of things that we're doing was going back and forth to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So Atlanta is, it's good enough, 3.5 hours? And then, a lot of my client base is North Carolina.
Okay.
So, and I'm from here, North Carolina. So I figured, I could still won't run too far from my, my client base. At the same time, going to Atlanta back and forth, boom,
Yeah.
So.
Okay. As a producer / engineer,
Mm-hmm.
What kind of setbacks or success that you have that you might want to advise somebody that wants to become an engineer or producer?
So basically the highs and the lows.
Yes, basically.
Okay. First of all, you cannot be afraid to fly.
Okay.
A lot of people, here's one thing you gotta understand. You gotta understand when you're in the real world. And I say that seriously, because a lot of people don't understand the difference. A lot of people are in love with being in love with the fact of doing this.
Right.
And then there's the people that actually do this.
Right.
You gotta set the barrier.
Yes.
See which one it is. Are you going to try to say I'm in love with it, but you're still working a 9 to 5 and you're probably going to stay there, which is nothing wrong with that. Because you might have a great 9 to 5.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if there's something you really want to do, you really need to truly make it happen. Make plans, make preparations, find out what you need to do to make that happen. And don't be scared to do it. You got to just go out there, Make it happen. Don't just sit around in your chair at home or in your city thinking that everything's going to be good and you want to be a local superstar. Well, guess what? Local superstars, I mean,
yeah.
who's ever heard of a rich local superstar?
That's
Realistically.
true. That's true.
Well, let me take that back. There are rich local superstars in bigger areas. Something like, could be Atlanta, could be in New York. But at the same time, they still had to get out of their main area, their main burg, their main borough,
yeah.
instead of just, and flying around. So here in North Carolina, it's more like a little smaller.
Right.
So instead of being in this one city or state, you need to go out, branch out, go to these music conventions, go to these industry conventions, meet these A&Rs, VPs, directors, all that. You got to get out there, make something happen, make it be known, and then really do it.
Okay.
Don't just say it. Make it happen.
Right.
So,
I know some producers have become artists. Were you an artist or?
Yeah, I was, and that's what's so scary. Not scary at all, actually. I was dealing with Universal for the first time.
Yes.
I was dealing with a young guy named Abe, and Abe was actually helping me create an album.
Right.
And the thing about it is, at the time, it was around 99, 2000, and way younger, and they were like, hey, South music's not going to work. It's a joke. It's not real. Everything was Northern,
right.
Or it was either L.A.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like real South music, they weren't really the labels really weren't trying to put much behind it. And I created an album that was, it had real instruments,
okay.
but real dirty South type of drums.
Yes.
I had real musicians.
Yes.
I wrote about 8 different angles of the album. It took me 2 years to do it.
Okay.
Because, I do more than engineer. I mean, I write, I can play instruments, not probably the way you may say I should, but it can happen.
Yes.
So from mixing, doing engineering, from recording, mixing, mastering, and then playing different instruments, writing, directing, composing, I was doing all of it. That's why the album took so long.
Yes.
They heard the album, thought it was cool, but they were scared to put money behind it. So
okay.
From an artist, I was an artist at one time. I was doing everything. So what ended up happening is the South started coming up, but I was like, I had to make a choice. I was like, you know what? I decided to go with what I like to do more. I love being an artist, but at the same time, engineering and production just was what it was. It was way stronger. So.
Okay. Lastly, what is it that what is it about music that inspires you?
Well, let's put it this way.
Yes.
What my company's known to do is to take artists really unlike. Let me clean that phrase I'm about to say because that can start a lot of friction.
Okay.
We go beyond the measures of your recording studio means.
Okay.
We make sure that we really sit with you. We take the time. We really help you create real magic. Like, not only that, help educate you why you're in the studio just instead of hitting a button or two.
Yes. 17
years of experience, and I make sure that you get every bit of that when you're working with us.
Right.
So what inspires me to do what I do? The fact that we get people out of here, the fact that we can help people change their careers, and from the helps of people like companies like JDS Incorporated, with Demario McElwain, JDScertified.com. JDS Certified literally has been taking artists, blasting them. Social media is the social media steroids, basically, is what they are.
Okay.
They can, they're a good portion of what we do, but we help the artists. We combine our forces.
Okay.
They take care of the promotional and their social media side. We take care of the audio side. And we help artists just rise up, make a change, make a difference, be seen, heard, educate them, help them go down the path. I wish somebody could have helped me when I was starting off, because my story on that. But that's what inspires me, to help people really fly.
Right.
Instead of just saying, here, thank you, gotta go. Thanks for the money. See you next week, Sal, Paul. Okay, gotta go.
Right.
Nah, it's not like I remember, man, over 600 clients. I remember every one of their EQ vocals.
Right.
I remember every one of their compression points. I know every track, how they like everything. It's personal. It's really passionate. It's what we really do.
Okay.
So that makes me more inspired to do this every day by knowing I'm helping people get out. And we have a lot of guys who already have budgets, guys who already signed, and a lot of people who just want to say, look, I'm ready to take this to the next level. They're like, look, I don't want to play around no more. Because honestly, if you're not really serious about your craft, we prefer to say, hey, you might want to go try this place over here, that place.
Right.
It ain't nothing personal.
Right.
My whole goal is to really make sure you have classic material or the best that you can be.
Right.
If you're just gonna sit around and turn around and play for your friends,
That's not going.
that's a waste of time and money.
Right.
And I already charge half of what my competitors do.
Okay.
Under half of what my competitors.
Okay.
Anyway, at this studio level.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is inspiration, getting people out here, making people have different hopes and careers.
Okay. Okay. Well, Mr. Parker, I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much.
If I can make one announcement. First of all,
Yes.
you need to go to MaximusMusicRecords.com, and you can also check the listen tab, and you can check out records that we've already recorded, one we're allowed to. It might start off with one record. I ain't gonna give it away. Slide down, you get to go to the Max Arsenal's production site, and which is a SoundClick site. So you can just click on those, check those out, and then you can hear some actual commercials we've done. So that on top of that, MaximusMusicRecords.com, JDSCertified.com. And I'm going to make one small announcement. I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
If that's okay.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. And this is Miss Carter from They Call Me Miss Carter radio show. And see you soon. Bye bye.